everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Cracks Are Turning Problems into Solutions. This is me Priyasha Das and I am up with a day 13 video on the TISSNET Crash Course series in which I'll be considering the grammar questions today. So grammar is a vast topic in itself, guys. You all know it. Antonyms, synonyms, word-based questions, everything comes under this category of grammar. But as far as the TISSNET paper is concerned, we have a couple of more questions which are very frequently asked under the grammar section, and these type of sections are the ones which I haven't covered up in my existing verbal videos as well. So make sure that once you watch this video, after watching this, you go back to my verbal ability playlist and check out the other questions over there so that you get a wide idea about what to do in this entire section. But today in this video, I'll be covering up some important questions from sentence completion, word usage and cloze test category. These three are the most frequently asked categories and most distinct also, not very commonly seen in the common entrance exams like CAT, XAT, etc. Okay, so here comes the first category. The first category is word usage. Okay, now when it comes to word usage, it doesn't really mean that you have to find out what will be in the blank. Here, if you read the directions, you will get to know that there are 4 words given to you in the options and 4 sentences. Now, out of this, you need to see which word is coming the maximum number of times in all the sentences, like which can be a part of most of the sentences. You would see that a particular sentence can be filled by more than one option also, but then we have to keep a note of the number of times we are repeating or using that particular word. For example, here the words are fresh, noble, good and expensive. All right. So let's read, and this is a completely common sense based question, guys. So make sure you use it. The first sentence says, Shyam is dash at his work. Now look at the options. Fresh at his work? Not really. Noble at his work? No, we are not considering him as a king. Good at his work? Yes, of course. So good gets 1 point. It can be used in one sentence. Expensive at his work? Not really. Fine, then we got one perfect answer for our first sentence. Now for the second sentence, the potatoes are not fresh, possible. The potatoes are not fresh. The potatoes are not noble. No. The potatoes are not good, possible. So this is the second possibility or the second sentence where I can use the word good. Okay. And the potatoes are not expensive. No one is going to complain for that. All right. So nothing to worry about it. I think we are good to go with the third statement now. Third statement says we should nurture dash thoughts. We should nurture fresh thoughts. Fresh thoughts might be a correct sentence in with respect to the fresh ideas, but nurturing fresh thoughts is not really what comes into consideration. Even then, let's say that if you consider this to be a yes, that we should nurture fresh thoughts, we should nurture noble thoughts. Yeah, we should nurture noble thoughts, that's true. We should nurture good thoughts, of course. This is the most appropriate sounding sentence. So third sentence in which I will be using the word good. Okay, and we should nurture expensive thoughts. No, thoughts cannot be measured as expensive, okay, or cheap. Then fourth one, dash manners are learned at home. Fresh manners? No. Noble manners? No. Good manners? Yes. Good manners are learned at home. So right now you see the score is 2-1-4-0. That means good is winning the battle by being used in the maximum number of sentences. So here my answer will be good. So accordingly in your exam also you would see that you would get so many similar type of words, but then you have to make a decision like this. This is the process of solving these kind of questions. So category 1 comes to an end over here. Now comes category number 2, which is sentence completion, but we have a lot of classification under that also. It is very easy to tell you the answer of a particular question in an exam, right? Like my way of teaching is not just question oriented. I'm anyways taking live classes at Unacademy, guys. So just to remind you that if you want to practice these verbal questions with me, please join me up there on Unacademy. I'll be coming live at 11 a.m. and you can practice all these verbal grammar related questions with me over there. But when it comes to understanding, the videos are made for making you understand the concept, and the Unacademy classes are for there to practice those things which we learned in the video. All right. So over here, let me tell you about the different types of questions, okay, which comes under sentence completion. Now, when it is a sentence, it can be of various types. जब भी हमें एक fill in the blanks type मिलता है in the form of completing the sentence, तो हमें उसे भरने के लिए कुछ ideas लेने पड़ते हैं. What kind of ideas we search for? We try to see the sentence. अगर sentence continuation type का sentence है, continuation type का sentence means it is having the same idea throughout, then we will be going with a word matching with the scenario. जैसे कि how will we realize that it is a continuation type sentence? By using or by looking at the words and, also, in addition to, etc. Similarly, एक अलग टाइप का क्वेश्चन होता है, दैट इज कॉन्ट्रास्ट टाइप सेंटेंसेस. कॉन्ट्रास्ट टाइप सेंटेंसेस में भी हमें आंसर निकालना बहुत इजी होता है, बिकॉज वी अंडरस्टैंड that now there is going to be a change of idea, and when it is a change of idea, how will we identify that word? We will identify it with the conjunctions or connectives like but, whereas, despite, in spite of, although, even though, notwithstanding, yet, however, nevertheless, etc. तो इस तरह के वर्ड्स जब भी सेंटेंस में होते हैं और हमारा ब्लैंक उसके बाद होता है, then we understand that we need to switch between the thoughts, and whatever words or adjectives we were using earlier, we have to use a opposite of that. Next type of sentence is the definitional type sentence, much like continuation only, जहाँ पे same idea prevail करती है throughout the sentence. So we will continue like that. Then there is another type of sentence which is cause and effect type of sentence, जिसमें first part में तो हमारे पास cause होता है and second part में effect. तो जब हमें पता होता है कि हमारे, suppose let's say that we are having a blank in the second part of the sentence and I need to fill that up. I know that the first part is the effect, so consequently I'll search for the option which will fill up the effect part, right? Not the cause part. So we will act accordingly. So we can utilize this cause and effect type of statements just like that. Now, next is the adjective noun concord. Okay, so this is when we are reading through a longer sentence. At least you need two sentences to identify this, because if in the first part or in the second part of the sentence where there is no blank, we are using an adjective in a particular tone. Let's say we are using to depict something good, like a beautiful painting. So painting is the noun and beautiful is the adjective. So if in the first part I have written it's a beautiful painting, and then in the second line I'm giving you a dash and then explaining about the painting, then of course I can't go in the opposite or the contrast direction, right? So I will be following the continuation policy, or we can say we would be going through in the same direction, the same tone of good. Okay. All right. Now let's see the second question. Okay, the example of a sentence completion type question. So here it comes. The fear of product obsolescence drives the businessman to dash, at the same time that it dash the consumer towards rented, disposable, or temporary products. Okay, so here we need to understand what the line is actually telling us. Obsolescence means what? Obsolescence means getting old. So just because they are having the fear of the product getting old versioned or expired, this drives the businessman to insanity. Now check it this way, okay? The first options are the ones which are filling the first blank. So do you think that this fear will drive the businessman to insanity? Insanity is what we call in Hindi as pagalpan, okay? So do you think that it is, don't you think that it is extreme in nature? It is, of course it is. So we will not have insanity in our blank. Now, product obsolescence can be cured by which way? If I go with adaptation or adoption, this is a common sense type, again apply common sense. If I use the term adaptation and adoption, is it mentioned in the next part of the sentence that what am I adapting or what am I adopting? नो। अगर हम यहाँ ये बोलते हैं कि प्रोडक्ट पुराना हो जाएगा, इस डर से बिजनेसमैन अडेप्ट कर रहे हैं या अडॉप्ट कर रहे हैं, एंड एट द सेम टाइम दे आर डूइंग समथिंग एल्स आल्सो, so does it make sense? No, my sentence is not complete. I am not telling the person what am I adapting or what am I adopting. तो इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि वी विल बी कमिंग आउट विथ ऑप्शन सी विच इज इनोवेशन। अगर मैं इनोवेशन बोलती हूँ तो मुझे वहां पर एडिशनली इन्फॉर्म नहीं करना पड़ेगा कि मैं किस चीज का इनोवेशन कर रही हूँ। हियर जस्ट इनोवेशन इन इटसेल्फ इज सेल्फ सफिशिएंट, बिकॉज इफ आई से दैट द प्रोडक्ट is going to be obsolete, then I will look for innovation. One way. And the second way is, at the same time, you are impelling the customer or the consumer towards a different set of products. Okay, impelling का क्या मतलब होता है? Impel means to force. You are forcing the customer towards other things. Carrying the customer doesn't make sense. Okay, and even if it makes sense, the first part doesn't make sense. Now impairs and dispels का मतलब होता है to remove something. Okay, to remove something from your life or to hurt something. As far as impairs is concerned, impair leads to hurt and dispels leads to removal of something which was actually good. So इस तरह से ये words तो बिल्कुल भी suit नहीं करते. Now, just because they are similar in sounding doesn't mean that they will have the same meaning, right? So, impels means to force the customer. So, here again we are forcing. So, this is the way how we'll solve the sentence completion question. Now comes the boss, okay? The cloze test. The cloze test in itself is a huge thing, because cloze test is fill in the blanks in the form of a passage. Easy हो सकता है, no doubt. Okay, but it's lengthy. आपको पूरे पैसेज को समझना होगा and you will have to determine कि कौन सा most appropriate होगा, because the only technique of making the cloze test difficult is to give you very linked words in the option. Okay, and then you have to make a decision. It's just like a decision making section of that, where you have to make a decision कि आप इस option के साथ जाओगे या इस option के साथ. And once you have selected an answer, if or suppose let's say for my first blank I have selected an answer, but after I find out my second, third and fourth and fifth answer, उसके बाद मुझे फिर से एक बार recheck करना होगा कि is it standing in line with the answers or not, like the previous answers are matching to the answers which I found now or not. So थोड़ा lengthy हो सकता है, but definitely can be conquered. Okay, conquered basically. Okay, so let's read the passage. According to the checklist on the internet, based on the Israeli experience, one way of spotting a suicide bomber on public transport is to look out for the passengers who seem sweaty and dash. This dash is dash number 1. Okay, or who are mouthing silent prayers. Stop. Now, this is the first full stop you get after the first blank. So, you need to stop here and look for your options. आपने already कहा है कि आप उन लोगों को spot out कर सकते हो जो कि sweaty हो, otherwise they are mouthing silent prayers, यानी कि वो murmur कर रहे हैं अपने मन में, कुछ अपनी deity को याद करके कुछ बोल रहे हैं. So, that is one term. Now, sweaty जब हम already लिख चुके हैं, so do you think that weary will make any sense, because weary का मतलब भी तो tired ही होता है ना? Been pale. Pallid means been pale by sickness. Livid means angry. Okay, तो obviously एक बंदा जो silent prayers बोल रहा है, कोई भी prayers angry होके तो नहीं बोलते. So that makes a sense कि हम लोग इन वर्ड्स को यूज नहीं करेंगे. Now the next thing which we need to put forward is anxious. अब बचा anxious. So do you think that the person who is carrying a bomb will be anxious? Of course he will be. So for now I take up anxious as my answer for the first blank. Let me continue. And what is the process of continuing, guys? See, everyone will tell you what will come in the blanks, but no one will tell you how to solve it. Okay, the best way of solving it. So best way of solving the cloze test will be, आपने जिस sentence को complete किया, जिस sentence में blank भरा, उसी sentence से आप continue करो. That means read it again. Okay, According to the checklist on the internet based on the Israeli experience, one way of spotting a suicide bomber on the public transport is to look out for the passengers who seem sweaty or anxious or who are mouthing silent prayers. But if you all have seen my video on reading comprehension, then you know that but की कितनी importance होती है. If you have seen the golden rules of reading comprehension or the video in which I have actually taken up a reading comprehension example and applied all the golden rules, तब तो आपको पता होगा but की क्या importance है एक verbal ability question में. When you see but, you know the change of ideas, okay? So, but the dash in this technique is that almost everyone I saw on the tubes or buses on the Friday morning rush hours was dashed with apprehensive perspiration, while several seemed to be muttering secret deals with some deity. बट मीन्स हमने पहला क्या रूल प्रपोज किया था, हमने कहा था कि अगर कोई भी हमें स्वेटी और एंग्शियस दिखे तो हम उसे सस्पेक्ट कर सकते हैं. बट दैट मीन्स ये आइडिया काम नहीं किया, राइट? क्यों नहीं किया? सो इफ दिस आइडिया इज नॉट वर्किंग, व्हाट विल बी द परफेक्ट वर्ड हियर? बट द डैश इन दिस टेक्निक इज, the problem in the technique is, the first most common thing which comes to my mouth is problem, and therefore I can search for a synonym of problem. Paradox, not really. Jinx, no. Flaw, yes. Problem, flaw. Mistake. Impediment is the stoppage. There is no stoppage here. The problem I am searching. So the flaw, okay. The flaw in this technique is that almost everyone I saw on a Friday morning hour was dashed with apprehensive perspiration. इस ब्लैंक को भरने के लिए यू नीड टू नो द मीनिंग ऑफ पर्सपिरेशन. पसीना in Hindi, okay? That means they are sweaty again. But what kind of sweaty? So this means I need to find an adjective for this apprehensive perspiration, or rather I should say adverb, not adjective, because perspiration is a verb. So seething, seething का क्या मतलब होता है? Seethe, we seethe with anger. Like, how should I tell you this? Like this sound we make when we are trying to burst out, but we are just stopping our mouth, or we are just, fixing our teeth with each other and not letting the words come out. That is called as seething. So, of course, we cannot seethe with perspiration, right? Perspiration क्या है? पानी है, पानी. So, you are not doing it with anger. You are glowing with water. Glowing is a very much positive word, guys. और यहाँ पर हम positive words use नहीं कर सकते. Coming to glistening. Glistening is a water droplet gristles, and water droplet is relative to your pasina, that is perspiration. So kahin na kahin this sounds good to me. Now let's check the fourth option, soaking. You can't soak with perspiration. ये completely other way around हो गया, जहाँ पर we are talking about a different context only. Like it will be more of a sweat in this case, okay? So यहाँ पर soaking with sweat के साथ हम use करते हैं, not with perspiration. So यहाँ पर apprehensive जब हम बोल रहे हैं कि ये like this is apprehensive in nature, so we will go with glistening. Glistening means shining. So that person, like most of the person are actually seen shining or glistening with this perspiration. Wet and greasy you can call, okay? Now still if you aren't sure about it, don't worry, you will be sure when you read the next line. And yet none of these people wanted to kill me, and they were trying to stay alive. Okay, so that means they were not able to distinguish between who is the suicide bomber and who is not. Okay, everyone is like silently giving out prayers. There are two categories of people who are giving out prayers. Now this is the next part of the sentence. So eventual effects of Islamist terror is to make the threatening and the dash indistinguishable. What am I not able to distinguish between? I am not able to distinguish between the suicide bombers and the other people. Why is the suicide bomber giving out prayers? Because he wants to be accomplished in his work. Okay, he wants to do the work properly. And at the other end, why are the other people sweaty, and why are they anxious, and why are they coming out with prayers? Because they want to live. They don't want to come out in, like, they don't want to lose their life in an accident or a bomb attack, right? So that's why they are not able to distinguish between the threatening and the threatened, the person who is threatened. Okay, so we are not able to recognize the difference there. And as the rush hour began, it was the soundtrack that struck you first. Okay, it's always a sign of bad times when the noise of the sirens become as dash and unremarkable as the bird song. Now, bird song is considered to be a very constant sound which you hear in the daytime, right? So take this out. Raucous. Raucous cannot be compared to a bird sound. Can it be? No. Raucous is a very loud noise. It's only we say that crows come up with such raucous sound, but not others. Similarly, mellifluous and dulcet are the good words, okay, which is melodious in nature. So, of course, we cannot compare this melodious sound with sirens, right? So, what is the only thing which comes out? Constant. The sounds of the sirens are so constant that they have become unremarkable, just like the birds' sound. Okay, it has been a part of life now to hear sirens all around us. So that is what is being depicted. So it's more of a RC than of a fill in the blanks, and whatever comes between fill in the blanks and RCs is called as closed test. Okay, so this is the way how we will be doing it. Step number 1, you go out with the blanks which you are sure with. Step number 2, read, if you are solving for the blank number 3, read the sentence which had blank number 2 solved. Okay, and then continue your sentence. You will find it much easier and faster to solve the questions in the closed test then. All right, so this was all about the grammar video today. If you like this video, please like this video, share it with more and more and more people, guys. And if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe to this channel. I'll be up with more such videos. Until then, please take care and thanks for watching.